Okay, what's up, my people? Don Bernard Jr. here. This message is focused to the ladies, those who come to me and look for advice about relationship, in terms of if they're trying to get a lover back or if they're trying to attract somebody new into their life. Something I was just talking to a friend of mine last night is the subject matter. And what I was saying to him is that men and women in the beginning of when we're getting to know one another, we kind of have opposing roles. Meaning men usually have to deal with their issues of self-assurance in the beginning. So we're all insecure because we see this girl we really like, and maybe we get her phone number, and then maybe we even call her, but then she doesn't answer back, or she doesn't text back. And so then we get all this anxiety of, when should we text back? Should we wait 30 days? Should we wait 30 seconds? We're always trying to figure out how long does it take before we should respond again. And there's all these games that we have this anxiety about that the woman doesn't have as much, especially if she's one that has a lot of different guys in her life and she doesn't know you that well, or different suitors coming to her. And so if she just kind of met you one night at a club, it's not like she has that much invested in you. Whereas you're more so doing like not a cold approach because you may have met her before, but you kind of sometimes almost feel like you're one of those marketers that calls you randomly, right? And it's kind of like, hey, remember me? And you're trying to create this kind of connection and chemistry with the person all over again. And it's kind of like that in the beginning, especially for guys. We're doing all this initiating. But for women, I think it's not in the beginning as much as it is once you've had some kind of intimate moment with the guy. So whether this is through kissing or something that usually, I think that it really happens once you've had sexual intercourse, because now you've opened yourself up. So now you have this certain level of vulnerability going on. Like, I fully, given my body to this man. How is he going to act in return? And so I think that's when the roles kind of switch, where the power play evens out a bit. Whereas in the beginning, a woman feels more like she has the power. Maybe I'll call him back. Maybe I won't. Ha ha ha. Right. But now it's like okay, I've let him into my home, into my body. And so how do I hold on to some of that power that I've now given away? First of all, it should never really be about power in the first place. But as people, we all have levels of control and power that we look for in our relationships to some extent. With that said, I think similar to what I was saying to guys about in terms of the self-assurance, how we need it in the beginning, I think women need it at this time, the time when you have an intimate connection with a guy. Because, see, as guys, we've over and over, or at least once if we've lost our virginity, okay? So we've been in a scenario, more than likely, your average guy has been in a scenario where he's got into an intimate interaction with a female, and after that happened, she got very insecure and started like calling him a lot and just basically trying to consume his time to make sure that he's reflecting back to her that he really likes her and he wants to be around her and he still thinks she's beautiful and he still wants to listen to her conversations. I think women make many times the mistake of them becoming very needy, just like men can do in the beginning. Like I said in my other video, women are always looking for thirst. People test you to see if you're needy or if you actually have a life, right? If people feel like you have a life and you have things going on, And people just know that based off who you are, just your essence. You're just comfortable in your own skin, doing your own thing. That's enough. But like I said, when women do that at a time once they've now had sexual intercourse or something intimate where they feel vulnerable, that's when that kicks in many times for them. And I think that's when, as women, you have to hold fast and really stick to your guns. What I was saying to my friend last night, I said, if a woman was to engage with you intimately, but then not call you at all. Like, matter of fact, when you call her, she's busy. And she says, well, let me, I can't get back to you for another 2 weeks. But, I'll let you know when when I'm available. Most guys would be chasing that girl. We would want to continue to chase that woman because she's given us that freedom, that space to still be ourselves. She's clearly got a life, and we still got to find a way to make her feel wanted and make her feel that that we want to show up and feel worthy to be a part of her life. We want to impress. But like I said, if a woman is to get into an intimate space and then immediately become like texting every other day, liking someone's Facebook post, like every single one after you've had something intimate, what people don't realize is that is a control mechanism. By you reaching out to somebody over and over, what you're doing is you're making them confirm to you over and over that they're still available to you. So there's a fear of abandonment. Guys, we feel it in the beginning. Do you still like me? Do you still want me around? So you keep texting, hey, how you doing? Well, the weather is supposed to be this today, and all this random stuff that she doesn't even really care about. So it's a lesson for both of us. But like I said, this is more geared to women who find that there's a guy they like and they feel a guy likes them. But once there's that connection of intimacy, it's like, okay, I got to make sure this guy stays around me. And I understand why women would do this, because I feel there's a chemical reaction. This is something that I learned from one of my teachers years ago, that when there is that sexual intercourse between men and women, it's very different between men and women. Men, we can have intercourse and then the next day we can basically just act like nothing happened. It's like it never happened. We just wake up, lovely day, we start our day, great. If anything, we just feel better about ourselves. But women have this chemical reaction. There's a firing off of certain hormones and that gives off a feeling of, I should be loved by this man. He should be taking care of me. So then you start thinking, okay, is this the guy for me? What's really going on here? And it's a whole other thing that as men we don't relate to, and sometimes we don't have proper compassion for. So what I'm saying is, since women have that chemical reaction, I think once women are aware of that, aware that their body's going to have that, then it will be easier to have a certain level of power over it, of control over it, and know, just like as a guy, we have a reaction when we see a woman we like. I mean, we just want to be all up in her face and, hey, how you doing? And we have this very intense thing that happens to us when we see a woman that we're very attracted to, and we have to control that. We have to put that under control. We have to actually say, okay, let me breathe, let me relax. So I think women have to do the same thing. When you have that intimate connection with somebody, once that happens, you have to put your emotions in check. You have to say, okay, I'm not going to necessarily just start, going crazy over this guy immediately type thing. And every situation is different. Like sometimes the guy is just fully all in and it's all just working. So it's not a full basis of how every scenario is going to work. But I just think in general, this is the kind of thing that happens many times, where women get into like an insecurity piece of once, okay, I've opened myself up, now what? And so it causes you to become needy in certain ways. And like I said, one great way to show that you're not needy after having that intimate connection with a guy is to just basically wait for him to contact you. Like, don't contact him after you've had that intimate connection at all until he contacts you. You know, wait for him to contact you. And even then, maybe don't go out your way per se, because sometimes people then go out their way. But it also depends on how much energy he's giving you. Like if he's giving you just a lot of exciting energy, just wants to be with you, and you feel the same way, so be it. But if you feel like the energy is kind of dragging in the text or the call, his tone of voice, or the text is kind of short, then, you make your text short. You don't have to. So in other words, reflect back to people what they give you. Don't try to give people more. And that's something I've learned too as a giver, someone who wants to share a lot, but I have to realize I need to receive as well. So as a receiver or as a giver, you must also receive and be open to receive. And don't over give to somebody who's not also giving to you in the way that they should. All right, peace.